Hey, oh yeah, we're live. Welcome to the Podcast Engineering School Twitch channel, Twitch streams. Today's an awesome day because Daniel Hager is going to join us on the stream, and he's right here. I'm going to switch over now. Oh, that's not you. So you could see on the screen, everybody watching, Daniel was a guest on episode 109 of my show, the Podcast Engineering Show, and he is the host of Let's Talk Retouching and owner of Hager Media and an award-winning, internationally published retoucher and Adobe Photoshop Certified Expert. So this is awesome. I'm so happy we're able to connect. And you're in Germany, correct?
Germany, yeah, I am.
Cool. So welcome, Daniel Hager.
Hi, how's it going?
You're streaming live on Twitch.
Yeah. I maybe should pull up the Twitch. Are we also streaming into your group, by the way?
Actually, no.
Or just on Twitch?
Yeah, just on Twitch for now.
That's fine.
So what happens is I'll stream on Twitch for longer periods of time and talk about all different things. And then what I'll do later is I'll clip parts of it and put it in the Facebook group and everything. So that way I can actually,
I'm not a regular Twitch streamer, so yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
But
I just started.
Maybe get to it.
Yeah, you want to try maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I have a nice setup, so why shouldn't I try?
Yeah, I was actually, before we started rolling, dude, I was complimenting you on your background right there. It's so, it's so professional when, and I don't know, you could tell me what it is. You are in focus, but the gear in the back is like out of focus and it makes you stand out so well. What is that?
Well, it's the camera that I'm using. I'm using a Dslr with a relatively good lens, so that makes up for some separation. That's kind of,
that makes sense.
Makes it nice. But my most precious thing, I should make it like this. My most precious thing here is my PV 120 watt amp that I'm never using at home. But, yeah.
So it's a guitar amp. It's a guitar head, right?
Yeah. I took the front plate out and put some LEDs in it. Because this one is also modded, so I did it myself. I did a bias mod and changed some of the preamp tubes and also the output tubes. The power amp tubes, they are different than what is stock. So yeah, but I can't play it at home. So
okay. So yeah, make good use out of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, and you're still podcasting. And the reason you and I wanted to sort of meet on here and live stream and connect is because you're actually using a couple things on your computer, a couple apps that you wanted to show me. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, I want to mention that we are actually connected using Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, we're trying something new here, right?
Yeah, so you and I are connected on Microsoft Teams, and from my local computer, I'm actually using Ecamm Live beta, Ecamm Live to send out the stream. So I have you on the Ecamm Live, and you could see me on the right, and I can change scenes. But yeah, so we want to know. I think it's called Voice Meter is one of the apps that you want to show us, right?
Yeah, I had to look it up. So we did a podcast once, both of us, and I said it is freeware, but technically it is donationware. So they give you the app for free, and if you want to donate $5 or $10 or whatever you can afford, they're happy to take that as well. So
got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And Voice Meter it's a routing software for PC, correct?
Yeah, it is. So, yeah.
Is it Mac also?
Should we just jump on my... I think not. So, because they are mainly using ASIO drivers and the MME protocol that is Windows-based. But, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so Voice Meter. So, yeah, go ahead and share your screen. Let's look at Voice Meter.
Okay, so let's share the
screen. For instance, I will mention that on my Mac, I use Audio Hijack and Loopback. And I think those two combined, or Loopback especially, is sort of like Voice Meter in that on your local computer, you can you can take audio from different apps and route it and mix it together, or individually record streams. Yeah, cool. Yeah, take it away, Daniel.
So maybe I just share my one screen here.
Okay.
And pull this up. So this is the voice meter, and they have different flavors. One is called the voice meter, then they have the voice meter banana, and this is the voice meter potato. And the difference is the amount of channels that I give you. So this one has 8 channels input and 8 channels output. And for people who know an audio mixer board, that's actually pretty familiar stuff. So I would assume how it looks. Despite that, usually Windows works with devices. So we have to have a device and route it from one app to another. So that's, let me look this up where I have put this. I have actually closed it. So let's open the sound settings again. So usually Windows by itself knows one output and one input device. And I can decide for different devices, like for example, my PreSonus interface, right? So that would be the regular way of doing stuff. But they also have these voice meter aux input or regular input. And I also have these cables, which are virtual devices that they put in. They call it dummy devices, audio cables, whatever it is. But the naming is what we need. So let's, for example, look at this now. If you are talking, you are currently coming in via the voice meter via your app, because I have setting that my main audio, which is the browser, is coming from here, but I can change that. And let's, for example, put it as cable B. And now I have my my main audio coming in from here, right?
Okay.
I mean, you're still coming via Microsoft Teams, which has this one. But if I now go into my browser and play something, it's going to come in here. So
got it.
And what we do here is, for this app to know what it's supposed to do, we go in here and then we can choose one of these devices. So, for example, my channel is the line 3 because I have a preamp in front of it. So it's coming in the line in from my... And I can use different inputs. For example, I have another Focusrite that I sometimes attach, so I can put it into another channel.
Got it.
And I can also use these dummy devices, like, for example, cable A, cable B, cable C.
Okay.
And this is, for example, the front of my interface. So that's in terms of the inputs. And as you see, I'm talking here. And then we have output devices, which is the output side is over here. I have already given them some names, so I know where things go. But how we set them is on top here. So I have A1, which is going back to my interface. So it's going to go. And then I can obviously adjust the sound, how much I hear. I can also use, which I have here, which are my Bluetooth headphones that I'm wearing now.
Okay.
So I am receiving this channel.
Got it.
Right. And I can route this by saying, okay, my audio is going to different sources, or your audio is going to different sources. So now I can put it to A4, which are my Bluetooth headsets, and I can put it to A1, which is the speakers.
Got it.
So I think that's, it's a quite nice way to do, and you can do all sorts of stuff. You have a compressor and a gate on each of these channels. You can use effects. You can mono all of that. Obviously, mute, and you can put EQs.
On the outputs, on the mix, yeah.
So yeah, so I can give you, for example, you are probably, this one should be, and I can give you an EQ that you're hearing or the stream is hearing, and that's quite nice. So all you now then have to do is to these output devices like cable C, cable D is what you have to set in every app. So let's, for example, open the Microsoft Teams app and I go to, where is it? Settings and devices. So this is set up for my speaker and my microphone. So you are receiving currently the this is channel B, and it's coming in via this channel. But I can totally change this to cable B. And
got it.
or let's maybe call it cable. Let's maybe, where is it? I have too many of these. No, that doesn't work. Give me a second, I can read.
Yeah, take your time.
So maybe we take this one. Now you are coming in via this channel. And yeah, I can also give you a different microphone. So let's, for example, use microphone or cable D. You probably won't hear me for a second.
Correct. We cannot hear you. Although, yeah, we can't hear you. Although,
now you should be back.
yeah,
Right.
now I hear you. But even when you were muted, I was hearing some kind of weird little glitchy feedback on my voice, but I'm still hearing it actually.
Let me see.
I think you're sending my voice back to me. Check it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Give me a second. Now, yeah.
Okay, now.
Now it's back because this obviously they were all turned on, so I was sending you back to yourself.
Okay, yeah, now it's better.
So yeah, but now your output is, I set it to cable D, which is this one, the A3.
Right.
And so you can mix and match, and you can give plenty of sources to different people and have people from different apps come in and hang out with each other. And there's something else I want to show you. So
yeah, hold on a second,
channel,
Daniel. Hold on a second. Your microphone audio is actually chopping up, breaking up a lot for about the past 30 seconds. I don't know why.
So now it should be better.
Oh yeah, it sounds better.
Okay, good. So yeah, so there's something I want to show, which is super important for when people are recording podcasts. So I used to use this built-in recorder, and it gives you 8 tracks, but the downside is depending on the quality you're using, it's gonna cut off at some point. And that isn't really ideal. So what you can do is, you can see on the right side here, I have a composite. So it's not a stereo. So when I'm talking, you only see one line going up, and I am a mono signal. And when you are talking, there's going to be another one.
All right. Well, here's me talking, and there's me on the right.
So, and that is what I can now use in an app for maybe Audition.
Right. So you're just, instead of recording every input separately, you're going to record stereo, you on the left, me on the right.
No, I can actually use 8 channels and put everything into let's maybe create a multi-track session for the second. Let's call it test. Yeah, that's fine. So because this is not a stereo channel, it's a composite and it has 8 different channels. I can grab every one of these 8 channels and route it into my DAW.
Got it.
So for example, in my DAW, I will use, for audio hardware, I will now switch to the voice meter ASIO. And now I have mono, which is my voice coming in. And you are probably, let me guess, channel 8. Maybe you can talk.
Oh, yeah. I'm here. And actually, Ross Brand commented, "Hey, Chris, what are you working on?"
Okay.
Hold on. Let me show the
So,
comments window. Yeah.
You're actually at 7. So now I can grab your audio, my audio, someone else's audio. I have 8 channels I can grab and route them all into my DAW at the same time.
Yeah.
And record it, which is super nice.
That's it. So you're recording all the different apps in your computer on separate tracks. This is perfect. This actually solves the problem of people on PCs who cannot use audio hijack and loopback. They can use voice meter. This is good.
Right. Yeah. And now when I play back, it's probably coming from the ASIO free file. And you should be able to hear this. Right? So that works, even routing it back.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear it, but...
Okay, give me a second. That should have worked.
No. But okay. I will. So this brings up a good point, though, so all this routing is like, it actually takes some time to think about it, to plan your routing, and actually set it up right and test it. Like it takes a while. You were just zooming around, switching all different buttons and settings, and like when you do that, like you're bound to just leave one little thing incorrect.
That's true. But you can. So for people who set it up once, or they have different shows where they use different apps, they can actually save settings into different files, and just before they start the session, they load their profile and everything is set up for them.
Right. That's it. So once you get it set, you save it as a profile, then you can easily load it later. And StreamYard asks, I don't know if that's you, Ross, or if that's StreamYard. But anyway, what DAW are you using? And you were using Adobe Audition.
Yeah, this is Audition.
Yeah.
I like it for the podcasting stuff because they have so many effects that first party effects that you can use, like declip, deplosive, and stuff like this. Maybe I can show this. There's something I like in particular is where is it? Compression. They call it dynamics processing. Yeah. But the what I really like about it, that you have this visual feedback and you can compress, do gating or expander all in one effect. So I can even put an expander on here, and so this is very dynamic in terms of working, and it shows you what it actually does down here from where to where it's compressing.
Yeah.
But it makes it easier for people, instead of just having a dial. They see it's okay, most of the audio is going up here, and I want to say, okay, from maybe -10, I want to do like a little bit of compression, or I want to hard compress or limit, basically. Yep. You can all do it in one. So that's one I like in particular. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think Audition has a bunch of good built-in processing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they're probably, in terms when you're going the route of mixing music, there are probably much fancier plugins. But for podcasting, I think it does really well.
Yeah. So, go back to the voice meter. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine.
Oh,
so
well, I was gonna say Ross, because Ross Brand is watching, of course, from Livestream Universe. Ross Brand. I mean, who doesn't know Ross Brand? I mean, go find him on Twitter and ping him right now. Yeah, Ross was asking what DAW is it. So yeah, it's Adobe Audition. But just to remind everyone, we're talking about this app that you see on the screen, which is for PC only, and it's called Voice Meter, and it allows you to basically create virtual instruments and virtual mixes, and then bring in various audio from different apps and actually send them to different places and record them separately and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, and there are two things I also want to show. Is on the out or master section they call it, we have the select buttons. So let's, for example, say this one is going to you, and I can select this, and you see when I make changes here, I'm not using one that you are actually hearing. These jump around, so I can mix all my inputs for the output. So I can make one source louder or a little bit more silent and mix it for a certain output.
Yeah, so for each output, you can make a custom mix by adjusting the faders and all that. That is cool.
Yeah. And the next thing that is really cool is when people are using, you can see this. So I have a little mixer board, the Korg Nano Control, and without me touching my mouse, I can change the volume with my fader because this app understands MIDI. So I can go into MIDI mapping and learn or teach the app my faders and everything, and I can use them. I can use it to mute myself and all that stuff. So that's something I like because I like my mute button and
So question, so when you what's a normal session for you using Voice Meter? What are you bringing in and what are you routing?
I mean, usually it's just one person on the interview sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main thing. It's just like me on my desk and someone else. And I'm actually using, what am I using? I forgot. That's when you're automating everything, because every guest they gets a link and I don't remember what I give them.
Well, do you connect with this Microsoft Teams, or do you use something like Squadcast?
Let me just quickly check what it is. Oh yeah,
sure. And
maybe
then
you can name one of it's relatively known for podcasting, but I don't use it for recording.
Is it Zencaster or Ringer?
No.
Zoom, Squadcast, Source Connect.
Source Connect is the one that looks a little bit ancient in terms of the interface, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
IPDTL.
There's another one that they have great audio quality.
Clean Feed. Is it Clean Feed?
Yeah, it's Clean Feed.
Okay, Clean
Feed. So I've tested a few because like Clean Feed, they give you outstanding audio quality, not when you're recording with them, but the audio transfer that's going over the internet. So as I am using my mixer and recording locally on my side, that's a pretty... Maybe they shouldn't know that they are actually not compressing the audio for free.
Well, Clean Feed does use, I mean, they do have to compress, meaning compress the file size and all that to get it over the internet. But they do it really well. I mean, I've heard Clean Feed's quality. It's very good.
Yeah. I mean, so what I know, they have a paid plan, obviously, but that gives you better quality when you are using them to record. But the feed and the codec they're using to transfer audio in real time is actually pretty good.
Right. So you're taking that live feed and routing it through your voice meter on the screen, what we're looking at, and then you record that in. Do you record it in Audition?
Yeah.
Normally, yeah.
Now I record it.
And so this little cassette tape on the screen right there, which is so awesome. I mean, I wonder if like teenagers today, like, do they even know what a cassette is? Anyway,
they probably don't even know what a CD is.
I forgot the whole CD thing.
Yeah, there was another thing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, whatever. But when you said before about recording in voice meter, you said does it only have a limited amount of space or something?
Because I was recording WAV files, and when a WAV file has a limit of 2 gigabytes, and once it reached it, the recording stopped, and that wasn't really great because it didn't show you, hey, I'm stopping the recording, and it doesn't automatically create a new file, so it just stopped.
That
terrible. Was a bit of a bummer, but what it really does is you can create like an 8-track WAV file with it, so that's fine, and have all the routing separate. So when I go in this, they either give you the option to record all these instruments, or they allow you to record a bus, which is, for example, A5, which is this one, which is also composite. So when I use A5 and use all my inputs and route them into A5, I have 8 tracks that I can record into this file. So, and depending on how many channels I obviously use, the quicker the file size of 2 gigabytes is reached, and then the audio is cut off. So
that's okay. So it's cool that it can record right into a polywave. Like you could literally record 8 tracks in one wave file, right?
Yeah.
Right to disk. But having a 2 gigabyte limit where it doesn't automatically restart the next recording, that's actually terrible.
Yeah, it is. Maybe they will fix this or update this. But on the other hand, as you can now route everything into the DAW, I don't see it as a problem anymore.
Right.
So, that's something they added recently. Is like the past few months they came up with the potato version that had this ASIO support, this extra channel, and that made it much easier to route into the DAW and back.
Oh, I see. Okay. So the potato version of Voicemeeter is probably the best one because you need to be able to route anything anywhere. That's the whole point of this whole app.
That's true.
So,
well, I could even set up a different device or like a laptop and via network transfer everything from my device to the other computer. They also some of the interfaces like Focusrite. They have these network protocols where they can send stuff back and forth between 2 interfaces. And they basically also put something like this into the software. So if someone wants to go fancy and needs 8 tracks, to send over the internet or send via local network, they obviously can do that with this as well, which is a little bit crazy, but
yeah. No, that's a little crazy, but that's cool. I mean, if you need to do it, you can do it with this.
Yeah.
I mean, the pain in the neck, this whole for the past many years has been that on a PC, doing anything like this is really hard. So
I mean, you had to have like 5 different laptops, and a mixer board.
Yeah.
And that's a nightmare.
Which is exactly what I had for years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I even can look, for example, I can record into the DAW and use one of the outputs and output it to a line output of my interface and connect an external recorder to it. So I have a backup always to a local recorder.
Right.
So
that, which is awesome. Yeah, I like this. And in terms of apps and virtual instruments and stuff, this is pretty straightforward. I mean, again, for anyone watching, when you first dip your toe into this world of virtual instruments, it is pretty confusing because You can do
it is.
anything.
Yeah. I think this is especially geared towards people who know a mixer board. But I had a friend who is a gamer and he doesn't understand what a mixer board does. And he doesn't understand that this is an input and I choose where to route it into an output channel. And he doesn't understand this concept. So that's a little bit, I mean, not very user-friendly in terms of people who don't know anything about audio. But
Right.
if you have used the mixer board, I think this is really easy to use.
Yes, I agree with that. So, yeah, it's in Loopback, the one that I use, it's a little more. They show sort of graphically how these 3 blocks of audio are going to go into that one kind of thing.
Yeah,
but same thing.
I think for people like my friend, that's probably easier because they have a visual path they can follow where things are going. And here, I have to rely on. I'm sending it to a dummy device, and I have to use the same device in the app. So that's not something this app does for you. You have to set it yourself.
Right.
But once you have set it, I think it's pretty much good to go. And you also can use, I can give every channel, I can put in whatever name we have routed it. It makes it easier. Also on the output,
Right.
I can give it a name. So once it's set up, that's, yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of my outputs, I use, for instance, like, because if you're using a bunch of different apps, let's say you got Skype, let's say you got Chrome, and I'm trying to think of PC examples.
Yeah, a lot of people are using Discord to communicate, or TeamSpeak, or something like this.
There you go. Or even like an audio clip player, like a soundboard little app on your computer. And so, but what I do for my outputs is where you have like cable C and cable D and stuff like that. I set it up so that, for instance, my output that's going to Chrome, which includes all audio except Chrome, because obviously you don't want to send Chrome audio back to Chrome. That would be feedback. I actually label that output, that virtual instrument, I name it to Chrome. So
yeah,
I know that that's the mix that's going to Chrome. And in my mind, it just makes it easier for my mind to understand that that's what that mix is. It's going to Chrome.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
obviously. I mean, I also put in, it's like here, this one goes into the DAW, this one goes to the recorder, and this one goes to my Bluetooth. So yeah, but
Nice.
It doesn't save you from, despite of setting this device, I also have to put the right device into every app that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people have to remember that. Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else that you would like to, like, I think we talked about many of these features. And there's a lot, obviously. If someone has never seen this, it's probably a lot, but
Yeah, I wonder if a lot of streamers use this, because a lot of streamers actually stream from PCs. And so if you're on a PC and you need to route a bunch of different audio different ways, like, there's no, like, is this the only solution? This is the only solution I've ever seen.
yeah, a lot of gamers, they are using OBS to stream, and they also updated the software, so they now can also grab every dummy device or cable or whatever and use it as an input source, and you can mix before it goes to stream. But this is, I think, a fancier way to manage this, especially when you are connecting a MIDI device, because I'm not aware, maybe I'm wrong, that OBS doesn't understand what a MIDI device is to control your outputs or your inputs, basically.
Yeah, good question. I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is nice. Wow, this is what I thank you for this little tutorial, this little showing us around Voicemeeter. This really helps.
Yeah, I hope so. I would like to see more people using it. I mean, I'm not getting anything for it, but they are not getting a lot for it either. So it's great to see companies like putting out stuff like this for basically free, almost for free. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so handy. So, here's Ross. Ross Brand. Some people like using PCs to stream because the graphics card handles some of the streaming CPU power.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true. Even when people are using OBS, they can, if they have two graphics cards, they can have one decode the or encode the stream and one to do the gaming, which is also nice, but maybe a little bit technical. But anyways,
nice.
We're not here to discuss like gaming, I guess.
Yeah, not specifically, but it's part of, I don't know, it's up for discussion.
Streaming, yeah.
So Ross, yeah, anyway, I've been getting so much more into streaming. Ross is a great streamer. He does a lot of different streams. Yeah, so with the graphics card and stuff. So here's what I want to do, Ross and Daniel. If I win the lottery, I'm going to hire somebody to set up like just a really awesome streaming setup here in my little basement room where I am. Like the strongest, the fastest computers, the lighting. I want and like all the Stream Deck stuff. I want everything, and that'd be so much fun, wouldn't it?
Well, you need the companies to send you free stuff. That would be a much easier way to get to this.
That's true.
I mean, winning the lottery, obviously, you can wait for quite some time until that happens, but the other way.
Cool. Well, here's the thing. So why don't you, maybe if you stop sharing your screen now, we can just chat for a little bit if you're up for it.
Sure. I am here, so people can enjoy my background. Yeah. So if you need advice on like how to get like this, you just need a fancy camera and a bunch of expensive gear in the background, and you look professional.
That's it. And the lights, the little lights, I think that's key.
Yeah. It makes everything fancier.
Yeah, like I don't even know what those are, so it's cool.
It's just, I mean, it's just these LED lights that you have. I think it's called an LED curtain that you have. So you have one rope going horizontally, and then a bunch of strings coming down, and it just put them somewhere here.
Nice, just like lay it over there or something.
Yeah, you can't really see what's happening here either. So
yeah.
And I have a bunch of sound treatment that nobody recognizes, because like I have some here on the door and here on the side, and nobody knows that it's sound dampening material.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I see a Blue Yeti back there.
Yeah, I bought it because I wanted to see how shitty it is. So I bought one used, and it really is like, I don't know. It's really... It's so interesting when you open this thing up and you see these tiny capsules that are in there. So they just put 3 in it. And, as an audio engineer, so you can put it in stereo. And that's the selling point, is that you can have omni, stereo, cardioid, and all that stuff. And no other microphone for $120 does it. But the capsules, they are like, I don't know how many inches these are. It's really hard to say. But they are quite some distance apart, and recording audio in stereo with microphones apart creates phasing issues more often than not, right?
Yeah, it can.
So I don't know, that it's ideal. And also I think the capsules that are in there are like $1 each, like in terms of the quality.
Yeah, actually, the quality of the mic itself, and the sound of it, like I actually don't have a problem with it. Like I always say that if you use a Blue Yeti in the right way, in the right environment, it'll sound really good. It'll sound really good.
You definitely need treatment, and if I think they have a pro version that has XLR, so the USB interface that is in there is really not something special. So mine is noisy. I have a hum that is in there all the time.
Oh,
I don't know. So, but I just bought it to see how bad it really is and to say, look, I tried this and
yeah.
don't buy it necessarily.
Yeah. Russ
I have
says,
a bunch of others. So
Russ says there are people who sound very good with the Yeti. Yeah, there are. Yeah. If you use it right, totally cool. And not that I would ever advise someone to get a Yeti. Well, look, that's, in the past, it has happened with me where clients approached me and said, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to record my podcast. And they'll explain it to me. And guess what? My answer was, you know what? If you really want to do it that way and just use one mic, then just get a Blue Yeti, which again, not the best setup, but if that's what people want to do. And then I had to train them. So I would tell them, like, look, try to shock mount it from the table. Because if you stick a Blue Yeti on the table, you just put your hand down on the table and the thud goes through the mic, which is horrendous.
But then the thing is so big and you need a special shock mount to put it somewhere. So it's much easier to use any stage microphone that often has shock mount built in, like the Shure SM58 that has a shock mounted capsule.
Right.
So, but it's a dynamic. I get it. And you need XLR and an interface. And I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, Ross, that's the way to do it, man. Put one mic in the middle of a table and have people sit around them. And do it in a public place, Ross, like in a bar.
Yeah.
That's the best.
And I just recently had listened to a podcast. They used something like these. So mine is a little bit fancier because I have thrown out everything that was inside. But they are these cheap, generic Chinese condenser microphones for like $15 or something. And they were using one of these and they cardioed and they had put it on the table, one person talking from this side and one from the other side.
Oh.
And like, what's going on? And you barely could hear the second person talk.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's a major fail right there. So
I have a friend who has a Rode podcaster and he's always talking into it from the side. Because even though it's a front address mic. I couldn't teach him. I told him like 5 times, but yeah, people are just nuts sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. So, what camera are you using exactly? Ross wants to know. It's a DSLR. It's a
Canon, it's a Canon 5D Mark II. So it's a very expensive webcam.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so if you really want to know, it's like a Canon 5D Mark II with a Sigma 35mm lens on it, the 1.4. If you know some gear, he's probably going to know what it is.
Gee, Daniel, it sounds like you're a photographer.
Maybe. Yeah, I know some stuff. I mean, it's not that I have a bunch of cameras in the background anyways, so...
So how often do you... Like, how many days a week on average do you actually go out to take pictures and take a lot of pictures?
Not often.
Not often, okay.
So, because I'm not earning money via photography, I enjoy taking pictures with stuff like this. Something like these old analog cameras. And, yeah. So then give me a second. So yeah, it's like shooting film, really old school, and then I shoot a roll of film, process it myself, and that's kind of my therapy thing. So if I really want to shoot, I shoot film, process it, scan it myself.
I have a question for you. So in terms of audio production and audio quality, it's well known that all the old school processing hardware, the analog hardware, it adds some saturation and warmth and it changes the sound enough just to make it just sounds more pleasing and more full. It's hard to explain. And so in today's world, if someone just bought a Blue Yeti USB, plugged it in and talked, it just sounds it can sound really almost too clear and too thin and wimpy. So we always talk about the old analog days in terms of that it sounds better. Now for cameras and film, like you just showed, what's the argument there? Is the new digital stuff really better, or is the old analog stuff still good? Or
Okay, so how technical should I get with this?
go for it all the way.
Okay, so my opinion is obviously with digital in general we get speed difference because we shoot an image and it's instantly there, and that is something you can't argue about in any way. But if speed doesn't matter, there are certain things you can do with film that you can't do, because film is the same as, let's imagine you are recording on tape. You cannot clip audio like you do with digital.
Right, it clips,
right?
But in a different way.
Yeah, it rolls off and it preserves some of these, and a film does the same. Because it's a negative, I have much more dynamic range basically that it can hold compared to a digital camera. And yeah, so that's something you can take advantage of if you know what you're doing. And I can also use it in creative ways. For example, usually there's something called ISO or ASA, which is the film speed, or the how's it called? In a digital camera, it's basically just the current that goes into the sensor to boost the signal. So on analog, I can, for example, underexpose the whole film, and then later in processing decide I'm just going to develop it more, and that creates more contrast and stuff like this. So it by default creates a different look. Mm-hmm. So, and even in digital, there are some older technologies that have a huge advantage and disadvantage. But now we're like super technical. So what they now put in every camera are CMOS sensors. And they're great because they have the capabilities of high ISO and you can shoot literally in the dark. But the main difference is every pixel has its own amplifier, basically. And that creates noise because little variations in the circuits create little differences in amplification. And there was an older technology called CCD sensors. And what they did, they read all the pixel values and put it into one amplifier, which amplified all the pixels by the same measurement. So they, in ideal conditions, had pretty much no noise. So, but it's really hard to explain. I mean, I can talk about this, but you need to see the difference in images to understand what it means. But yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about the richness of colors, the difference there. But also, Ross Brand says, does Daniel need to delay the audio when live streaming with a DSLR to keep the audio and video in sync? No, right?
Nope, not really. That's maybe something interesting to say. So when you're recording someone and that person is recording locally, you have two different time clocks because they're two different devices recording. And when I am getting a feed and recording it in one app, I just have one time clock because I don't have a drift if I grab the feed from the internet and record it. So... yeah, no, I don't need to mess around with the camera for now. So
yeah, that little difference in clock is actually something that in my perfect world, if I got to create my own Squadcast or Zencaster or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, I would have something where the same those clocks are synchronized. Mm-hmm. Because then it's tricky. If someone drops off and comes back or whatever, like regardless of what happens with internet chop or dropouts or glitching, the file on each person's computer will be recorded seamlessly. And when you put them together later, they will line up perfectly. But you're saying that's harder than it sounds or something?
I'm not sure. I mean, you obviously have to have two different devices that know that they have to accept a different clock from some other source. But so I'm I'm not using a locally recorded file from my guest, so I'm using the feed that I'm getting. So for me, the advantage there is I might get these chops every now and then because there is a little drift, and sometimes, like, I don't know, a syllable is missing or something. But the advantage is I don't get drifts because my computer is basically the clock.
Right.
And the only clock that I need.
And one other thing that happens that I've noticed is that sometimes if you're using Squadcast or Zencaster or one of these, when the guest is talking and it's coming through the internet, sometimes all of a sudden it'll slow down for like 2-3 seconds. It'll slow down.
Yeah.
And then after like 2 seconds, it'll go real quick to catch up, and it'll go quick, and then they'll just continue talking.
I personally don't have that quick going. I just have this slow thing, but I assume that is a mixture between like the clock and also the how's it called, the frequency that your device is running. So mine is not at 44, it's at 96 kilohertz.
96.
Right? And that can lead to some differences. Yeah. Right. So I think it's a mixture between what is the clock and what is the frequency.
Right. The sample rate. So so Ross says, when I compared Webcam to Camcorder, the sync was off with Camcorder, which I used with a capture card.
Oh. Well, I think it depends on like how cameras are sending out the feed over the usually it's the HDMI, so they can have a delay, and you can if you're using OBS, they allow you to set a delay for your audio in the software. I don't find a need to do this the way I'm doing it now.
Cool,
but it could happen. I mean, yeah,
right. So do you do any streaming normally, or is this like one of the first times you ever streamed live?
Yeah, usually I don't sit in front of the computer and talk to people. I give classes though, so I have my setup. Sometimes I record a video every now and then, but I also do teach Photoshop. And when I have a class, I obviously have my setup here and share my screen and stuff like this. So, yeah.
Cool. So you're in Germany, right?
Yes.
So
somewhere I wouldn't even tell you where because nobody knows it. It's like on the opposite of the country compared to where Berlin is. So
okay. All right. Someday we'll break out a map.
Yeah. So it's like do you know? There's a comic about these. You probably don't know it in America about the French like history comics. Where they have these mustaches and Asterix and Obelix. You probably don't know that over there. So anyways, but they start this is like this. They have this huge country of France. I mean, huge. And then they have this very tiny little city that is, So it plays in the times of the Roman of the Romans, and they conquered pretty much all of Europe except this little spot in France where these people live. So it's kind of the same thing for me because I live in a smaller city. So we have Germany and that place that nobody knows.
Yeah, you're in the sticks. Okay, Ross Brand asks, do you think a webcam, camcorder, or mirrorless would be best for live streaming?
Well, I would definitely not use a webcam if you can afford to use something else. I mean, a webcam is the same as a Blue Yeti. It's easy, it plugs in, and it kind of works. Right? But if you want to do it more often, I would probably go with a mirrorless camera because you can put fancy glass on it and have the background blurred out.
Oh, see, Ross, you're bringing up good questions. This is what I need. Yeah. I need a mirrorless. I need a green screen. I need everything. All right, someday.
There's something about green screens, though. So many people, they don't have a lot of space behind them, and they put up a green screen, and they put a light that is further away from their face than you are from the background. So the illumination of the person and the background is pretty much similar. But then you get bounced back and you have this weird green tint on the sides of your face and everything.
Got it.
So that's something I see a lot, but
that's why with green screens, they say you have to, like, so behind, if I had a green screen behind me, there should also be lights behind me that are pointing at the green screen. No?
Yeah, that is to get an even illumination. But then so if you don't have enough distance, you will always have this green light coming back at you.
I see.
And then we get into something like video codecs, how many of the color pixel versus black and white pixels you have for the software to detect and all that weird stuff. So I'm not going to get into like what 420, 422, 444 is here, but yeah.
Ross, he just got a green screen. Ross, you did? Oh, that's cool, man. All right.
Well, you can do fun stuff with it. It's just like, I mean, I can cut myself out with this background and put just my silhouette onto another frame. I can do it.
Dude,
but he can now.
I do this meditation stream, and I really wanted to do it with a green screen, so then I could sit,
put yourself into like have a waterfall behind you.
Yeah, or like the Himalayas behind me, right? Like,
yeah.
Come on, I need that.
That would
Ross.
be great. But then you have to sit on the green screen, like sit on the green screen and exchange the whole scenery.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
A self-lit green screen, so it's bright in itself, so I don't need to light it. Oh, anyway, I'm innovating the green screen technological space right now, Ross Brand.
Yeah.
Okay, Ross says StreamYard added a feature that makes it easy with no download. Yeah, so StreamYard, within StreamYard, which we're not using now, but in StreamYard, so wait, you need the green screen, you need the actual green screen behind you, but then StreamYard in its software has the ability to do the, it puts the background instead of green.
I think OBS does as well. But something that you might be using is if you go into the Microsoft Teams app, you have your camera and your microphone, and then you have these 3 buttons for more. They have this option to blur the background even more. Really? So maybe you want to make use of that.
Yeah, wait a sec. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is cool. All right, hold on. I got all these things on my screen. So wait, I actually had minimized this. So wait, okay, so now...
I'm not sure if it's like if you get it when you're running it in the browser. I'm not 100% sure. But
show device settings.
No. On the bottom where you can mute yourself and like on the, then you have like these 3 buttons.
Yeah, more actions.
More, and then you should have blur my background.
No, I have show device settings, info pane is disabled, enter full screen, keypad, start recording, and turn off incoming video.
Damn it. Then it only works with the app.
Okay, yeah, because I am using it within Chrome. Yeah. All right. Well, Daniel, so wait, what time is it over there?
Oh, let me see. It's 11 p.m., so it's fine.
Oh, so you're a night owl over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have to do night shift because I was kind of lazy today, and then I had client appointments which took like 5 times longer than they should take, and now my whole schedule was messed up, so I have to work later.
All right. Do post-production. Yeah, I got a bunch of not too much, but I have a bunch of post-production for clients I have to do later.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks for showing us Voice Meter, bro. Anything else we should talk about?
Yeah. Well, if people have questions, I don't see the questions, but
yeah. So Ross,
if you see them.
I think Ross might be the only one here. So I think all in all,
yeah, it's quite early over there, right? So it's not your regular streaming time.
Yeah, it's daytime. So I'm in Mountain Time. It's 3:00 right now. So that means New York, it's 5 p.m. So
yeah, people are stuck in traffic, so they have better things to do.
Yeah, but But this is good because the replay, people will see the replay. So
Yeah.
oh wait, hold on. I think I heard a comment. Oh yeah, Ross says thanks guys, learned a lot. Yes, Ross Brand, thanks for being here, brother.
Anytime.
See, Ross knows. Ross is a marketing guy, I think. He knows if you show up on a live stream and comment, then they're going to show your comments on the screen. Then
Obviously.
later on when they clip that video and put it on YouTube, now Ross is going to be on the YouTube video.
Yeah, he's going to be everywhere.
Genius.
So in the blogger scene back then, when blogging was like more used than it's now, probably because nobody's reading anymore, it was a common thing. So you always tried, if another blog was posting a new article, you tried to be one of the first comments for people to see your stuff as well. And
that makes
people were spamming and putting their links to their websites, and yeah, that was a common thing back then. Now comments are, I don't know, in blog posts they are, I mean, we are still using them, but they're becoming a thing pretty much of the past.
Right.
So, but yeah.
All right. Well, Daniel Hager, why don't you show? Can you bring up your website on the screen and your show? Can you show us?
I can. Give me a second.
Sure. If it's easy to show a browser, I want you to show us your show.
Yeah, sure.
And your company. And yeah, so Ross, thanks for hanging out, bro. And yeah, Ross and I were on the phone the other night talking about the mix pre and all that. I'm glad you got it figured out, Ross. And by the way, after we hung up, that's one thing about troubleshooting is like if you spend like a half an hour or 45 minutes like really trying to focus and troubleshoot something, sometimes you'll think, like early on in the troubleshooting, I thought of something, but by the end I forgot it. And that ended up being the thing that worked because he had to just reboot the whole thing and reinstall the firmware.
Yeah.
So I had thought of that early in our session, but by the end, you know, you get tired and your mind gets a little jumbled.
Happens a lot. So maybe let me share my second screen. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Ross's comment.
So this is the podcast that I have, which is about post-production on images. And I have a bunch of guests that are relatively known in the industry. Yeah, if people fancy post-production stuff, which is odd because it's like even about audio stuff. So you never have this visual reference, but it's fun to talk about, say, experience that you have. Yeah, and I have a bunch of people who worked on like really nice images, and they, more or less known in the industry. I try to get a good mix between people who are very known in the internet world and some that are less known but still do great work. And then I have my little company, and we do like this online marketing stuff, like a lot of search engine optimization and ads and all that technical stuff. So yeah,
that world. Wait, scroll up just a hair. Show me all your online services. No, sorry, scroll down.
I don't have. So I haven't. So the thing is, with people who are working on websites, they never finish their own website. So I only have. But just at the moment, I only have the description for the search engine marketing and that stuff on there.
But go back to the page before.
Give me a second.
Yeah, because I want to. Yeah, and then scroll down and show me those. That's it right there. So there you go. Market research, strategy, content creation, organic reach, paid advertising, and coaching. Dude, here's my question. All of those, well, besides the coaching, all of those things are changing day by day, week to week, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, so it's quite known of people who are only doing affiliate marketing. They earn money if their pages are ranking high. So if there is any update on Google, they are going to sit there for like 4 days straight, not sleeping and figuring out what they can do to get their pages up again. So that's the thing.
Wow.
And I mean, the industry is changing. Google is not sending. So I heard this is the first year, or 2019 already was the first year that Google has sent less traffic to websites because they are trying to answer more questions directly in the search results.
Oh.
You see that happening by you type in the questions and you already get a snippet that might answer your question.
Yes.
So people are not even going to the website anymore.
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, it's changing. It's changing all the time. But it's like this cat and mouse game. There are always people trying to figure out new stuff to get people to buy. To buy, basically.
Right.
That's the whole thing. On the internet, people have to buy stuff.
Right.
And make money.
That's it.
Anyways.
Well, thank you, man.
So,
Thanks for showing us that. Your show, everyone could check it out. I mean, look, I'm constantly, even I use to make little images for my social media posts and little things, or even like a little logo, or even like the Podcasters Lounge logo and stuff. Like I use this website called Photopea, PEA, and it's literally like a mini Photoshop in the Chrome browser. And
so I want to give you a little tip. There is an app. I think you can get it. It's an online app, so you have to register an account, but you can use it for free with Adobe. It's called Adobe Spark. And it's basically a bunch of design templates that you can rotate and mix around and save it, and then just repurpose that for different channels that you have, and have fancy fonts and little graphic designs, and it's all for free. So that's something a lot of people are using now because you have to come up with ideas quickly. And I'm not a designer, so I also go there to get stuff done because I am shit when it comes to design. I can't design when I have to do a logo. It's not looking very great.
Yeah, mostly what I do, come to think of it, is if someone sends me an image for let's say I have a guest on my show, they send me their image, but it's like 4,000 by 4,000 pixels. And of course, I'm not going to put an image that big on a web page. That's kind of silly.
Well, some people do, but then it takes like 6 seconds to load for the whole website.
So I'll bring in whatever picture they send me, I'll bring it into Photopea, and I'll just make it 1,200 by 1,200 and save it.
Yeah.
So handy. But all right, Daniel Hager.
Another little side note: if you're in WordPress, you can rescale. Sorry, but if you're in WordPress and have uploaded such a big image, you can rescale in the media library.
Got it. So I could upload the 4,000 by 4,000 and tell WordPress to make it 1,200 by 1,200.
Yeah,
makes sense. Oh God, so much to this. This has been fun, man. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. Anyway, so
it's been great.
Okay, I have to do boring work now, so probably nobody's interested in hearing about that. So
cool. Well, thanks again for joining us, showing us Voicemeeter and sharing a lot of other stuff. Just cool hanging out with you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Maybe we can do that someday again.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I for some reason love streaming so much. If you ask me why, I really don't know. It just seems so cool. I don't know, but I want to do more of it. That's my point.
I find it easier when you talk to someone else instead of looking at the camera and talking into the camera just by yourself.
Right.
That's a little bit odd, but some people are really good with that.
Right.
You have to give it to them.
All right. Well, thank you everyone.
Anyways, you have a great day. You're probably streaming a bunch more now.
No, I'm actually gonna shut down the stream. So we're gonna end it here. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for watching the replay. If you have any questions, get in touch with me or Daniel, of course. And all right, thanks, brother. See you, everybody.
Talk soon. Bye.
All right, peace out.